All right, let's talk about that daily ritual. You know the one. You pop a multivitamin, you feel good about it, you think you're doing your body a favor. But what if you're not? What if you're just swallowing a cleverly disguised piece of rock? Yeah, it sounds completely nuts, but according to the material we've dug into, it might be way closer to the truth than you think.
So, is your daily vitamin a total waste of money? That is a billion-dollar question for sure. And the answer, well, it's not as simple as yes or no. We're about to peel back the label, look past all the marketing, and see what's really going on inside that bottle. And I'll give you a hint, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Okay, wow. A scam with the absolute worst, cheapest ingredients on the planet. That is a huge accusation from our source material. But is there any truth to it? Well, that's what we're here to find out. We are going on a deep dive into the world of multivitamins. And believe me, we are not holding back. So, what's really inside these things? Where do we even begin this investigation? Well, the first clue is actually hiding in plain sight. It's right there on the ingredients list on the back of the bottle. So let's grab our magnifying glasses and take a closer look. Okay, so the very first ingredient you'll often see is something called calcium carbonate. Now, it's super cheap, which is great for the manufacturers, but its source, get this, it's industrial limestone. It's literally rock. And because it's an inorganic mineral, your body barely even recognizes it. It has to go through like a dozen different steps just to try and use it. It's the difference between your body getting calcium from a piece of cheese versus, well, licking a rock. And it's not just calcium. Check this out with magnesium. The form of magnesium in your supplement makes a massive, massive difference. So many big brands use magnesium oxide, right? But look at this chart. Your body only absorbs about 4% of it. 4%. That's like trying to fill a bucket with a giant hole in the bottom. You're losing almost everything you put in. But a more bioavailable form, that just means a form your body can actually use, like magnesium glycinate, you get 80% absorption. The difference is just staggering.
So, we've got cheap, rock-based minerals. But the story doesn't stop there. Not even close. The vitamins themselves, they have a secret. And it's all about where they come from. You might be shocked to learn that your all-natural vitamin was actually born in a chemical lab.
Let's just take vitamin C, for example. The most common form you see in supplements is called ascorbic acid. Here's the industrial recipe for it. You start with GMO corn. Then you add some harsh chemicals like sulfuric acid. You chemically synthesize it all, and what do you get? Ascorbic acid. I mean, it's just a world away from drinking a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice, right? This is a chemical cocktail that started its life on a GMO corn cob. But wait, there's more. You see, to turn all these synthetic vitamins into a nice, stable powder, companies need a little help. They need a filler. And that's where our next lovely ingredient comes in, maltodextrin. It sounds kind of scientific and harmless, but it's really just a fancy name for a super cheap filler made from something called dent corn, a type of corn you literally can't even eat. And here is the truly wild part. This filler, this maltodextrin, it spikes your blood sugar more than plain old table sugar. Let that sink in. You're taking a vitamin to be healthy, but you're also getting this hidden dose of something that can totally mess with your blood sugar, completely undermining the very reason you took the vitamin in the first place. Okay, 40%. Think about that number. For over 40% of the population, a super common synthetic B vitamin like folic acid is basically useless. It's because of a really common genetic issue where their bodies just can't convert it into a form they can use. It's exactly like trying to unlock a door with the wrong key. It just doesn't work. And what's worse, it's not just ineffective. That unusable stuff can actually build up in your system and potentially cause other problems. All right, so we've looked at the ingredients inside the bottle. But now let's talk about the companies behind the bottle. Who is actually making this stuff? Who's really behind what our source calls the daily vitamin deception? Well, if you follow the money trail, the answer is pretty surprising. And this is where the plot really thickens. Take a look at this. Some of the biggest, most trusted names in the vitamin aisle are owned by the exact same megacorporations that sell pharmaceuticals and chemicals. You've got Centrum, owned by Pfizer. One A Day, that's owned by Bayer, the same company that makes Roundup. Nature Made is owned by Otsuka Pharmaceuticals. I mean, talk about a potential conflict of interest hiding in plain sight. It's basically a vitamin monopoly when you get right down to it. The top 100 vitamin companies are owned by just 14 corporations, a tiny handful of giants. We're talking big pharma, big food, and big chemical. They control almost the entire industry. And it seems like a lot of them are playing by the same rulebook. Use the cheapest possible ingredients to make the most possible profit.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got cheap ingredients, synthetic vitamins, and a handful of corporate giants pulling the strings. But how do they get away with it? How is this even legal? Well, it all comes down to reading between the lines on the label and uncovering the secrets that it's hiding. You've probably seen this on a label. You see a phrase like standardized extract, and your brain immediately thinks, oh, that's good. That means quality, right? Potency. But it can be a really clever trick. It's a way for companies to legally sell you a product that is mostly filler, with just a tiny, standardized amount of the actual active ingredient. Honestly, this is the ultimate vitamin shell game. Just look at this. You think you're paying for 100 milligrams of some powerful herb, but in a standardized extract, you could be getting as little as half a milligram of the actual active compound. So what's the other 99.5%? You guessed it. Often it's just a cheap filler like maltodextrin that's doing you absolutely no good at all. So here they are. These are the red flags you need to watch out for. After all this, you're armed with the knowledge to fight back. Now you can spot those inorganic, rock-based minerals like carbonates and oxides. You know to look out for synthetic vitamins like ascorbic acid. You can see the hidden fillers, and you know what vague terms like standardized extract really mean. You're officially a vitamin detective. At the end of the day, the power is in your hands. Now you know the secrets hiding on the label. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? What will you look for the next time you pick up that bottle?